The very, very best to talk Megan into doing this, getting over to Dallas. She's in Fort Worth. I figure you go over to Dallas, you can be our special correspondent at the winter meetings, the baseball winter meetings. She wouldn't do it. She would not do it. Megan Mescher is on the line with us. She's a registered nurse and executive vice president of Tox and Tonic, a boutique med spa specializing in Botox, skincare, and vitamin injections. And she's agreed to come by and spend some time with us today talking about this phenomenon that is taking place. Plastic surgery and injections are soaring in the United States, particularly among young people. How young is too young for plastic surgery? Megan, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful, even though you won't go to the winter meetings for me.
We'll never say never. Never know.
Hey, Megan, let's talk a little bit about plastic surgery and Botox injections, which are also really, really big right now in the United States. 25.4 million minimally invasive procedures were performed in 2023. It is a trend, and people are using it very, very liberally. Is there such a thing as being too young?
I think that it's so dependent upon the patient, right? I mean, of course, I think you can be too young for certain procedures, most definitely. But every child and a young adult has quirks or issues or things that they feel insecure about that they might want to get fixed. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What I do think is, we live in this internet world now, and comparison really is the thief of joy. And I think it's hard to not live your life as a younger person these days, constantly comparing yourself to others. And really, the comparison is to something that's not even typically real. People are comparing themselves to somebody who's using filters and all sorts of other things to make themselves look like a perfect person. And I think that's the slippery slope that we kind of live in right now is, at what point do we stop comparing ourselves to other people and just be happy with who we are when we look in the mirror? So I think that's the issue. And, minimally invasive procedures, plastic surgery, there are a lot of different words for, being thrown about. And I think, when you talk about plastic surgery in general, I think more of surgery, right, which is a more invasive type of thing. So thinking about things like surgical intervention, Botox and filler and laser, and that kind of thing. Those are all very minimally invasive, typically no downtime. People can do it and go right home after without without anybody really knowing what they've done. And I think there is a place for that, certainly, but I think if we could just have our kids stop comparing themselves to things that aren't real, we might start to heal our society a little bit in terms of how we think about ourselves.
You may just have given us the line of the year. Say that line again. Comparison is the thief. Say the way you said it. What did you say?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
The thief of joy. Wow. That is so well put,
Yeah.
And it really is true, and especially in this day and age when you're looking at your social media, and everybody can declare open season on you as it is. For older folks, though, Megan, when we think of cosmetic surgery, acne scars, wrinkles, drooping eyelids that actually impair your vision, they can get so bad.
Right.
Those
Sure.
sorts of things, those are traditional things that we think of, but we think of them in association with folks who have aged, particularly those who have scarring. If they get that taken care of when they're younger, and the number of different techniques now is changed as well, it is a real game changer for them, isn't it?
Sure, 100%. And that's kind of why I prefaced it by saying it really depends on the patient, right? And so, each patient can go consult with a physician or their nurse practitioner, and discover what's going to be the best remedy for whatever, is making them feel insecure. And I think it's amazing that we have the opportunity, to help people in that way. Because there are people that go through their entire life, feeling very self-conscious or unhappy with their appearance because of things like scarring or, even a hump on their nose, right? Something like that. There's nothing wrong with fixing those things if that's going to make you feel more confident in life. I think, where we start to question, is this necessary, or when we start to see people almost disfigure themselves, right? Where they're putting filler in their face or they're freezing muscles, they can't smile anymore. It's things like that. And a lot of it, too, really is dependent upon seeing people who are qualified as practitioners, right? I think a lot of younger people, they might not have a lot of money, and so they're trying to really cut corners. And, plastic surgery in general is not a place where you want to cut corners financially. So.
Laser treatment, Botox, those things in the last several years have really seen an increase. Is it the technology? Is that really what is making the difference that all of a sudden they're so popular?
I would like to say yes, because the technology has really evolved, but I would also argue that people are looking for opportunities to improve their appearance where they don't have to recover for a long time. I mean, we've really become an instant gratification society, right? Nobody wants to, we always would joke, you joke around like, what is it? I can't even think of the saying, but you got to suffer for beauty, right? Nobody wants to suffer for it. They just want it to be one and done and not have to worry about it. So I do think some of the popularity of lasers and Botox and microneedling and those types of things has become more prevalent because there's less downtime. It's a way to offer something to patients where, they can get some moderate or, some small benefits without having to sacrifice any downtime, any kind of ugly time, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, technology definitely has evolved over time, but, a lot of these lasers are the same lasers that, it's the same technology that's been around for 30, 40, 50 years. Mm-hmm. It's just evolved where they've been able to kind of get, tune those lasers in a little more so that people can adjust downtime and that type of thing.
In comparison to other geographic areas of the United States where we live here in Indiana, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh, we don't get as much sunshine as other areas do, certainly where you are in Fort Worth, Texas. But the amount of sun damage that we suffer, I'm twice a year I'm at the dermatologist getting stuff frozen off my face from sun damage. It's just...
Well, good for you. That's great that you go to the dermatologist, because not a lot of people don't do that. So that's an important part of it, right? You got to go get checked.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
Yes.
So tell me about Toxin Tonic and what you do there, because sun damage is really, really, it's a dangerous thing, number one. But number two, it's a reversible thing, or at least a treatable thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be. And obviously, I don't need to tell you this. I'm sure your dermatologist has told you this many times, that sunscreen is, the number one thing you got to do every single day. Got to put that sunscreen on. Doesn't matter if the sun's out or not. So Toxin Tonic, we basically, we run a branded spa that we offer to licensed to nurse practitioners who want to open their own injectable practice. And so we really are just in the state of Arizona right now, but we basically have young nurse practitioners. They want to start their own business. They don't want to be under the thumb of a doctor anymore. They want to get out and do their own thing, and so we can offer them a branded sort of plug and play opportunity to open their own business and learn how to run that business. A lot of people, they're great clinically, but the things they don't teach you in nursing school and medical school is they don't teach you how to run a business. Yeah. So we help with that part of it, and helping them understand clinically too how to assess and evaluate patients and how to have the conversations like we're having today. How do you have a conversation with possibly a very young patient and say, look, I don't think you need to do this. Ethically, there is a line where you want to you have to really make sure you're guiding and offering patients the right treatments for them, and not just trying to offer treatments in order to sell products. right?
Yeah.
I think that's the other aspect of this that's really important. So
She is Megan Mescher. Megan, where do people learn more about you and what you do?
you can go to toxintonic.com, and there's all sorts of great info there, and links to our other site for learning how to open your own practice, and but also tons of info about Botox and filler and things like that. You don't have to live in Arizona or even come to Toxintonic. You can learn more about these treatments and what they can do for you on that site if you'd like to.
All right, Megan. Now, when you're in Dallas at the winter meetings, so check in on the Pirates because we want to know the hot free agent trading possibilities.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, I spent a lot of my formative years growing up in Pittsburgh, so I'm all about the Pirates. Yeah, heck yeah. In fact, when I was a young girl running on the towpath in Pittsburgh, I, for the first time, ran across Lynn Swann and Terry Bradshaw running together. And so, although I didn't officially meet them, I did see them in person running with me and my dad. So Pittsburgh has a big place in my heart, so I love the Pirates.
That's amazing. You know, Dave Parker was elected to the Hall of Fame last night.
No way! I did not know that. That's awesome. Yeah. We lived in Pittsburgh back in the heyday.
Beautiful.
We are family days.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Megan, we love you then. Hey, thanks so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, and happy holidays.
You too.